Good morning, family. It is day 3 of our hike that's covering the distance between Dennis Cove Road and Low Gap here on the Appalachian Trail. If you don't remember how we did this, we did 2 days going from Low Gap down to Iron Mountain Shelter, and then Iron Mountain Shelter on into Boots Off Hostel, and then today we just got shuttled down to Dennis Cove Road, which is where Aquamarine and I actually finished off last October on a trip that we did. So that's kind of how we got a chance to meet Jim from Boots Off the first time. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, so we're going to hike from Dennis Cove Road and take our time. We hear there's some slippery, tricky spots along rocks and ledges, but there's also a beautiful waterfall that we cannot see. Cannot wait to see is what I meant to say. It's still working, still getting woken up here. So anyways, we thought we had an extra hour. I got my time off for the shuttle this morning, so we pounded some coffee, half of an apple fritter, and headed out. So, but we're good, and we've got our snacks and stuff, and our water and everything. But it was just gonna. If you haven't ever been down here, there is a couple of hostels. There's the signage behind me. There is the Kinkora Hiker Hostel that is, if I remember correctly, is only $5. It's just a donation. The gentleman who I think runs it used to be a thru hiker and hosts hikers there, and pretty cool. And then also there's the Black Bear Resort AT Hiker Hostel, and they have a lot of stuff, including food and resupply shuttles and things. So I haven't been to either one of those, but they're both right here off of Dennis Cove Road. Kinkora you can see from trail. I can't see it from the road. Black Bear is actually, I think, this building. See if you can see it right back, kind of behind right there. You can see that little red spot. That's what I think is Black Bear Resort, or it's right near there. So. All right, well, we're gonna get down trail. We got 8.4 miles to go today, and I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can kind of see a little bit of the start of this trail.
Polar plunge. There you go, man.
That's it. Actually, Marcus was talking about doing the polar plunge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to do that more.
No, thanks.
So that's where we came from. See the bridge out in the distance? This is what we are still going up. We were told to definitely watch out for these steps. Be careful on them. So I probably won't film a whole lot while I'm climbing them. But we will just take good steps. But they say to really watch out for the steps over here, make sure they're not slippery. Take good. They are not slippery this morning, which is good. It's a beautiful hike so far.
An avalanche of the rocks falling down from the side of the wall.
Yeah.
And then they all just
Looks like we had a rock fall here at some point. Like they literally just fell. We continue to make our way down the rocks to what I believe will be the falls. That's up where we just came from. This is down the rocks where we are going. Yes, putting the phone away. I'm not gonna try to hold it and navigate this. Okay, y'all, just taking another pause to show you these rocks. It is no joke. There's definitely some tricky navigated areas here. Again, we're in the pond wilderness. We are about to get to Laurel Falls. Aquamarine's doing good. We're just taking our time getting down these rocks because as you can tell, you just really have to watch like some of these, like these right here, those just look like steps, but then there's other areas where you really have to watch where you go and the best way to navigate through them. But just a lot of big rocks, and I'm kind of hoping that it's not like this on the other side to go up, but it might be, and we'll find out. You can hear what sounds like the waterfall, so I'm looking forward to seeing that and showing that to you. All right, that's your first glimpse of Laurel Falls, guys, and I think the reason why they tell people in that song not to go chasing waterfalls is because they might have to climb down something that looks like that to get there. But it is going to be totally worth it. I can't wait to see it up close. All right, folks, here we are, Laurel Fork Falls, and I will tell you, while the hike down those rocks is no joke and you got to be careful, oh man. The only thing I think I could wish is that it was a hot day and an excuse to go in there, because this is incredible. It's definitely as beautiful or epic a falls almost I've ever seen in nature like this. All the different places, I just look from left to right and the different ways it falls, the wider sections, the more narrow sections, and the way it hits the rocks. Yeah, really glad we were able to come back and do this. Definitely worth coming and checking out. And I'm just going to be quiet and let you guys enjoy it for a minute. Oh, these are probably rocks to be cautious on too. So we go left and we follow those rocks around.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's fun.
that's actually the Appalachian Trail going along these rocks. This is where you have to be really careful because if the water's blowing up on it, it can spray, I think, and get wet. We're gonna be really cautious, take our time. Glad I'm not carrying a 30-pound pack as part of the day, to be really honest. But excited about it. I've heard this is a really cool section, even though it is tricky. We'll see you down trail. I'll try to see if I can video if my footing allows. Be careful, okay, please.
This is definitely probably what gets slippery.
Oh, what's up, family? We just climbed this little ascent, a little under a half of a, right about a half of a block, or I guess what you'd say, it was 0.05 tenths of a mile up here to this Laurel Fork shelter. And if you take the Blue Blaze Trail and you bypass what we just did, both for ease and to use the shelter, then this is where you end up. And it's the first Tennessee shelter I've seen of this style with the rock and not being cinder block and stuff. I wonder if it's one of the older shelters, possibly. See if it has a shelter plaque that tells anything about it. But pretty cool, sitting above the falls and the water. Up here does have a fire ring over here. Looks like some fresh burn. Maybe somebody was just here a night or two ago. Does have a shelter log. Yeah, I don't see a plaque. I do see a pan to cook in if somebody wants to cook up some stir fry or something. A little trash underneath there, which is unfortunate. You gotta remember to pack out your trash. Well, technically you could put a tent or two over here. Probably wouldn't want to. This is not very flat ground. Over there on that far side, on the other side of the fire ring, or whatever that hole is, looks like they've used it for a fire ring. That looks like you could possibly set up a tent there and not be too uncomfortable. And that trail leads you on down the Blue Blaze Trail that bypasses the part of the AT that goes along by the waterfall and with all those crazy rocks and ledges that you saw us do. It just is more, I guess, of a typical trail. So in a minute, we're gonna head back down and continue on the AT. If you needed water here, obviously it's funny that there's a sign for water because there's an entire river running by us, by Laurel Fork. So we are gonna get water in about, I think it's a half a mile or so, maybe a little more now that we're up here. But yeah, so we'll probably try to do a quick film in when we get there, but try to catch our breath a little bit from the climb up here, just so we could go back down. But we wanted to come check out the shelter. So it's kind of neat. And on a day that we are just enjoying the view and all the aspects of the trail, not really having to rush, we figured, why not? All right. everybody? We just stopped here by the water. There was a spot that we could navigate down to and get some good water replacement, just to replenish our water bottles, and about to head back up on trail. Got about 6.5 miles, I think that's what we go. And there's supposed to be a good climb in there somewhere. I don't even want to look. I don't want to know. I just want to. When we get there, and then we'll get over it. And once we get over it, it's a pretty easy hike back to boots off. We'll see you down trail. Hey, family, we are slowly making our way up about a 2.5 mile climb. We knew this was coming, and we just didn't know exactly how long it was. I don't think I really wanted to know, so we looked at it. But the good news is once we're over it, it's about a 2 mile downhill to boots off. So the other nice thing I will say about this climb is it's kind of a steady climb. It's not as steep as some of the other ones we've had this weekend's trip. And so there's some switchbacks and a couple steps, but it's a pretty clean trail so far. Let's hope that stays. And then also what I liked about it, so far is, like I said, just kind of a steady ascent. It's not a super steep ascent. But we've actually only gone about 3 or 4 tenths of a mile since we started. We're also at about our halfway point, I think, for the day. So we are just doing a stop to have an orange and some water, and maybe change how our pack is, and maybe swap out. And Aquamarine's been carrying the pack for the whole day so far, so I think I'm gonna carry it for a bit. And yeah, but it's still a beautiful day, and it's a great day to not have to carry 30 pounds on our backs, or 20 pounds in her case. And it's also a nice day just to not have to be in a hurry, just enjoy the weather. So that's what we're doing. Hey everybody, we're about a mile or so up the climb now. We actually just knocked out 4 tenths of a mile since our little not really lunch break, but snack break, and that went really fast compared to the first 3 or 4 tenths of a mile, which was nice. We still have a long way to go. What did I say, about a mile? A little over? Or almost a mile and a half, right? Yeah, almost a mile and a half, I guess. But thought we'd show you, there's a viewpoint here. It's not a lot of room to see through the trees, but if you can see right there, right through the middle, those trees are, the fall leaves are really changing, looking really pretty. And at least it's something just to give us an excuse to stop and gaze and catch our breath as we continue up this 2.5 mile, roughly 2.5 mile climb. So we're going to keep on keeping on. Looking forward to getting to the top. All right, everybody, we just got to the top of this 2.5 mile climb. We climbed about 1,800 feet in elevation. We just passed the Pond Flats tent site at the top. By the way, there are several other tent sites along this area. I don't know if they're just unofficial tent sites or what, but they're definitely in existence, and some of them would sleep 3 to 5. So just know that the pipe spring that comes up toward the top of the climb, it was flowing really good today, October 8th, 2022. So in case you're hiking soon, just know that. I wasn't like at a high flow rate, but it was fast enough and decent enough that it would be a real easy spot to fill up a couple of Sawyer water bags and filter some water for you, a couple liters if you needed it. But yeah, great trip. Now that we're over the top, we have a really tiny climb as part of the downhill, but really this is downhill for about what it looked like according to Far Out was 2.8 miles. I thought it was 2.5 to boots off, but hey, whatever it is, if we're going down, it's good. Aquamarine has already taken off. She is like, all right, now that we're heading down, let's turn on the jets and get down this thing. And I think we're all ready to, both ready at least to finish it. Not in a negative way, but really, I think we just want to go get some really good food. We've been kind of making this a snack day, knowing that it was not going to be a really hard day other than that climb. We just brought things like Crustable PB&Js and snack trail mix and trail mix bars and oranges and things of that nature. So what I call just the daily survival food, and plenty of, we of course brought our cellular filter so we could get water, which I feel like we made a good call on how much water we got. But yeah, so it's been a good day. Weather's been great. I'm thankful for that. It gets cooler and then warmer, kind of depending on where you're at on the mountain. So sometimes we take a layer on and take a layer off type of deal, but we're good. All right, I got to catch up to this young lady, so I'm going to jump off here. And unless I see something really cool, I may not video much until we get to the bottom. But you never know what's going to be on trail, so we'll see. And over. And we're back. What's up, Tramley? So we are a little less than a half a mile, maybe getting close to 3 or 4/10 of a mile from the hostel. We are just exiting the Pond Mountain Wilderness. Woo! That was cool. And yeah, great day. I will not lie. Hiking up that mountain is difficult, but not the worst one I've ever gone up. I mean, because of the way the switchbacks are, and it's a pretty clean hike without a ton of, stuff to step over and deal with along the trail. Overall, one of the better ones. And it was nice because we were having to hurry today. So we took our time up, but boy, we jammed getting down. So it's fun times. And looks like a tent site or split or something here. Anyway, we should be coming out onto the road to Boots Off here any second, and then walking up the drive. We will call it a day. I will call it a weekend. I will call it 35 plus miles, which is exciting. I think my actual miles, if you include the hiking up and back and forth to the hostel, puts you at around 35.3 or so, which for me for a 3-day is really exciting. So anyway, I'm gonna flip the camera around for a minute as we get ready to come into the close, and appreciate y'all following along. And we might do a little end of trip thing when we get to the to go find some place to eat. Right now I'm gonna leave you guys with this view before we get to the hostel. All right, everybody, we have made it to Boots Off. I have completed about 35.3 official miles of hiking, maybe a little over 35 on the AT this weekend, 3 days. Feels so good. I wanted to show off the tiny cabins. They're like 8 feet by 10 feet. They don't look like much, but they do have a bunk. I think it's a full size underneath a twin, sleep 3. And they also have, I believe, heat and a little corner table with a coffee maker. So a lot packed in, a small space, well done. And I think they're like 60 or 70 bucks a night, something like that. I think 70 now. So yeah, check them out. They also have the glamping tents. Check those out as well. They're pretty cool. I think some sleep 2, some sleep 3, and they have like a propane heater and other things. So they're really awesome. And then of course the campground sites like what we got, they're usually, I think, $15 or $30 a night, something like that. I think they're $15 a night, and then $15 more for each person that you have in addition. So basically 15 per person per night. So pretty awesome. And just, there is an addition for a certain number of people in the glamping tents and the tiny homes. So just look it up and check out the Boots Off Hostel website and information if you're ever looking for a place to stay here, whether you're hiking the AT or not. Great spot. As you'll see, they've got the canoes and the kayaks and the wave boards, all kinds of cool stuff. So you can go out on Watauga Lake, and they're awesome folks. So come support them, and don't forget about them when you're staying out here by Watauga Lake or going for a hike on the AT. All right, we're going to pack up and go get some food because I know we're hungry after this 8.5 mile day, which is funny because there is a book in here that says still hungry. For me, it's after all these miles. Love that fire pit. What is up, family? So it is actually the day after my trip, but I wanted to do a quick closeout. We had a great time. I will say it's just really cool to have accomplished my personal best of doing a 35-mile 3-day trip. I know for a lot of folks who get out on trail, that's not a big deal, but for me, that was a big thing, especially Saturday to do a 16-plus mile day was a really big thing. So really was excited to be able to do that. And just to be able to feel that good. I felt really strong this weekend, and just had a great time. So great weather, good time. Of course, Boots Off was great. We stopped at the Elk River pizza station. If you haven't been to Elk River Depot, which is a great little restaurant there in Elk River, coming south, coming back towards North Carolina from say Hampton, Roan Mountain, Tennessee areas, it's a great little spot. But they have a little pizza station that's open daily 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Right now, I'm going to flash their menu and a little information about them on the screen, give them a shout out. They're a relatively new part of their restaurant. So basically, when you go up to Elk River Depot to the restaurant, on the left side, when you're facing it, on the end is what they call the Elk River Pizza Station, and it's a little walk up, but they also let you come inside and use the restaurant seating to sit in now and dine in, which is really cool. So there's not a lot that's always open, especially on Sundays out there. So after a long hike and when you're hungry and you're wanting to stop and get something good. So I know they're slowly expanding their menu. They do some really good calzones, he said, and they're trying to start doing some other stuff soon. So if you get a chance, stop by, support them, check them out, and just wanted to give them a quick shout out. So anyway, just a reminder, if you ever have questions, tips, tricks, if you've been on some of these sections, I'd love to hear your experiences. If you are wanting to hear more about specific things when I'm out on trail, something that would help you to get out on trail, please let me know. Just comment down below. Remember to check out the items that I've noted down below specifically for referencing some of the hikers that I've followed over the last few years that have inspired me and helped me, and other things that I just like to post and share that might be useful for you. All right, well, we'll see you on down trail next time.